What is up, everybody? It's your boy Jam, and I'm back again with another competitive Pokemon guide video. Now, today I'm going to be doing a guide on Hisuian Arcanine. Now, going into Scarlet Violet, I didn't play Legends Arceus, so this was kind of my introduction to a lot of the Hisuian forms. And I gotta say, I love using Hisuian Arcanine. I love the design of it. It just looks really cool in my opinion. And going into the competitive side of it, I became a little more 50-50 because, and it all goes down to the fire rock typing. Now, right off the bat, when I look at this Mon, this is one of the first things I notice because this adds a lot of, I feel like a lot of defensive pressure on it. Against it actually would be the better word because Fire Rock really is not a great defensive typing, especially when we look at OU. Now we've added a fighting weakness to it, for example. So, Mons like Iron Valiant, which outspeed it, are going to be hitting it extra hard, or Hisuian Lilligant, for example, which does outspeed it at a 90 base stat total. So it's definitely a scary Mon in that regard. But I think what it makes up for in that lack of defensive pressure is its offensive strength. That this thing, at the end of the day, it still has a base 115 attack. So if you can kind of negate that speed, we're going to be really in the clear here. And this is where I have this set. I've chosen to kind of go with the Choice Scarf set because I think it helps out a lot. It'll help outspeed the things it needs to. But Rockhead also goes great with this ability because now it doesn't take recoil damage. So I think mixing that with Terra Normal can be really good if you're wanting to go for the additional stab, because once you Terra Normal, all three of these moves are going to have stab on them. Double Edge, Flare Blitz, and Head Smash, all really strong moves, hitting with the max attack, taking no recoil and stab. I think it's going to be really strong. It's going to hit a lot of Mons, because now you have three types for coverage, and I think even the Double Edge is going to hit foes really hard. The certain Mons that you're weak against, like for example, Azumarill, Dondozo, like Mons like that, it's going to hit like a tank against. Maybe not Dondozo as much, just because Dondozo is super bulky. And I haven't done exactly the calculations of that Mon. But overall, it's going to hit some of your foes really hard, even Pelipper, which Pelipper rocks with Rockhead. It would do a lot against. But, so yeah, I really like this set with it. Kind of going into it, you wanting to hit the max speed, you want to hit the max second Jolly Nature, because we're already going to be hitting really hard with our stab attacks. I don't really see a need for Adamant. I'd rather focus on the speed in this regard. Now, I'm going to kind of skip over this set real quickly, but I want to talk about another single set that I kind of built, because one issue of the Terra Normal is that you still have that fighting weakness, that a type that could already switch in on you. You're just setting up for another super effective. So what's kind of the counter to that? And I was thinking something along the lines of Terra Grass, because just off the bat, ground and water are already 4 times super effective against you. So if you can get a Terra type that's good against both of those, you're going to be really set in the clear. And a fire type like Heatran, for example, isn't really wanting to come out on Arcanine, maybe for the steel pressure, but even then it's going to be neutral. So Grass Arcanine, I think, is pretty safe. You run the Terra Blast, so you're getting a Grass type attack. We still have the Rockhead, so we can hit Head Smash and Flare Blitz, but instead of Double Edge this time, I've kind of opted for Extreme Speed. Now, I think you can use both of these kind of together, or interchangeably, because Double Edge is still going to be really good. But having that priority on a Mon with such high attack can be really nice. I always advocate for priority when you're going up against Mons, because you never know what shenanigans you're going to face on the showdown ladder. That you could face some weird level 1 fear tactics. You could be in the situation where you're at the end of the battle, and if you don't outspeed, you lose, so it's kind of your best bet. So I could definitely see Extreme Speed, and I can even see it being done on this team, especially if Terra Normal, it's still going to be doing a lot of damage. But this is pretty similar to your team. I'm running the Heavy Duty Boots instead. You could still run the Choice Scarf. I just kind of wanted to show off something else you could really use because it would help out against Stealth Rocks and other things. This is actually one of the sets I was running when I did a competitive stream, so I think it could be really useful. But these are just kind of singles, so how well does it stand in doubles? That if you were wanting to go into VGC, what's a set you could kind of run with? Now, I'm basing this a lot off of my own Arcanines from the past, as I actually used to run Shiny Arcanine. I bred a perfect IV one by complete accident, so I actually made it a VGC sport. And it was kind of along the lines of being a priority mon, but also a support. That learning Helping Hand is a really good move for this guy. That it's a priority move that's going to help boost your Pokemon's attack, just kind of being on the support side, but also extreme speed for the priority. And once again, we have the Rock Slide and the Flare Blitz. I think Rock Slide's really nice because if you're outspeeding, once again, Jolly max speed, you have the chance to flinch for both mons 30%, but also just Flare Blitz and Intimidate. So when I think of doubles Arcanine, I really do think of kind of a half support, half defensive pressure. The Arcanine can hit really hard, but it learns moves and has an ability that's super viable for that. I love Intimidate in doubles. So if you're wanting to run a double set, this is what I kind of advocate because it, like I said, it helps support. You have the Intimidate, you have the Helping Hand, you have extreme speed for that priority that you may need to save you in a doubles battle. But it also, has some offense, the Rock Slide for the flinch, a mix of both. Flare Blitz if you just really need to go all out. And then I have this kind of set right here just to talk about some, not even a set, but just to talk about some of the other moves it has. Like, one thing I haven't gone over is the ability to run a special one that, even at 95 base, you're hitting 289. If you really want to go unique and run the Modest, you're hitting 317 attack, which is really good. Or 317 special attack. And with that, it learns a lot of special moves that could be really good. That Dragon Pulse could be really nice. Coverage against Dragon types, guys. Dragon types are out there. And they hit like a truck. So having Dragon Pulse could be there. You have your typical Flamethrower. Hyper Voice, Heat Wave. All moves you could really go against it. Even on a physical team, it has some amazing Dragon moves that we haven't talked about Outrage yet. Now, I always advocate not against Outrage, but just to be cautious, because your opponents could always have a Fairy type or Terra Fairy in the back that you don't even know about. So there's definitely things you need to watch out for. Raging Fury, another really interesting move that could be really good on it. Psychic Fangs to hit those fighting types. That it does have a lot of coverage. Wild Charge for the electric types is something else you could do, and Wild Charge actually could go really good in this beginning set. That if you are wanting to run Wild Charge instead, you're not going to be taking any recoil from it or anything. And it can even just switch up the Terra type a little bit. That, Terra Electric is going to be a little bit more on the, it's going to be a little bit better on the coverage side, hitting those water types. It also hits flying, but you have Head Smash for that. And Head Smash is going to be stabbed right off the bat in case you're not comfortable terrestrializing. So you have options with that, but overall, I really like Hisuian Arcanine. Now, how do I think it stands, like, in the OU tier? Kind of before, I'm very 50-50 on it. I think it all depends on the sets and what your opponent's repping, because it is weak against a lot of mons, and some of the mons I think it's really good against, like, let's say Rillaboom or, Moltres, for example. These are just mons you don't see ran that often. Like, some mons like Tornadus you might see a little bit more, or even like Torkoal. So there are some mons that's really good against. But then other mons that are really common, like Ursaluna, for example, you have Choice Scarf Volcanion, which is going to knock it right out the bat for Water Absorber. Even an Earth Power, which will hit it really hard. I kind of left the team builder here, but... So yeah, that's kind of my issue with it. Zapdos it'll hit pretty good against, which is semi-common, I feel. You see Zapdos every now and then. But so it's kind of my issue with it, that, Fire Rock, once again, is just really a downgrade on the defensive side of things. You are going to be getting one-shot by most Water-type moves. There's really not even a point in running the special defense or even the defense. Like physical mons like Basculegon or Azumarill, you're going to get knocked out against. And again, just some of the mons that aren't as common, it does good against, but the issue is they're not as common. So like, Articuno you don't see as often, but it would hit it pretty hard if you did, or even a Moongus. Moongus is pretty common. I would say more in doubles than singles. So again, going back to this Arcanine set could be really nice for hitting off the strong Flare Blitz. But overall, I do think it is a really fun mon to use. Obviously build your teams around it very well. If you're not wanting to rep the Terra Electric, if you are wanting to stick to the normal, And even if you're not fully sticking to the normal, I would still really recommend having an electric type on the team. That there are some electric types in the OU tier and even a little bit under that'd be really good. You could run Electrode. You could run a Pikachu. You could run a Alolan Raichu. A Alolan Raichu is a really fun one. So there are support mons. I really like the Rotom Wash. Rotom Wash or Zapdos would be decent mons to run with it. But this isn't a full team building guide video, so that's kind of my thoughts on it. I think it's a really fun mon to use. These are the sets I would really recommend with it. And if you did enjoy the video, guys, make sure to subscribe. Let me know if there's any mons you want me to cover. My plan is to cover as many as I can in Scarlet Violet, ranging from most, tiers above NFE, and maybe even going into NFE and Little Cup if, time comes for it. So, check out the links in the description, guys. Check out my Discord, check out my Twitch, check out all that fun stuff. I'm actually going to be streaming on Twitch here because YouTube's not really letting me verify this account for another month. So I'm going to be streaming on Twitch till further notice, and I'll see where Twitch goes. But, we'll be doing shiny hunts and our fun things there. So your boy Jim's going to be signing out, and I hope everyone has an awesome day.